there guys, it's Skip from Megan. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and if you are new, then as always, welcome aboard. This week, obviously, we're back in my car. I don't know if this is going to start becoming a thing, but anyway, this week I'm going to be talking about some Disney pet peeves. Everyone has some things that when they go to Disney World, I know it's the most magical place on earth, Disney World, there's still some things that happen that kind of irritate people. So these are just a few of the things that I have seen people complain about, mention that kind of irritate them when they're at the parks. These are not necessarily my list. This is just things that I have observed through going to the parks and working at the parks and all that good stuff. So not in any kind of order, just some things that can be pet peeves when you are visiting Disney World. So the first thing that people always mention is strollers. I'm going to call them the stroller derby. People who have strollers and use them as battering rams. This also applies to wheelchairs and ECVs, people who drive them or push the strollers through crowded areas and use them to kind of force their way through. Now, this is absolutely not everyone who uses a stroller or wheelchair or ECV. There are plenty of people who use them appropriately and use them for their intended purpose and not to like scoot and make a path and part the waters. There is actually just as much blame. This is one of my pet peeves, is when people blame it solely on the stroller or ECV owner and they take no responsibility for watching out for themselves. So if you jump in front of someone who is operating a vehicle, it's going to be difficult for them to stop. Just be aware of your surroundings, I guess, is the main pet peeve that people have with this, because there's blame on both sides. There are people who use strollers and wheelchairs and things inappropriately, and that's annoying. And it's also annoying when people just dive and cut in front of people and just step right in front of you when you are trying to do something. You know, you're trying to drive as carefully as you can. It's very, very difficult to operate an ECV or a wheelchair in those crowded areas at Walt Disney World. So it's difficult already, and it's going to be even harder when you have a group of four who are like, oh, I'm just going to scoot right in front of you real quick. You know, you can't just like slam on the brakes super quick with those things. So just make sure that you are aware whether you are operating a wheeled vehicle or you are just walking. Make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and don't be discourteous to anyone around you. The next one that most people probably think about is line holding and cutting and things like that. You know, obviously most people are probably okay when there's a family of four and little Timmy has to go to the bathroom real quick, so mom's like, hang on, I'll take him. We didn't know that it was going to be a 45-minute wait, and even if we did, we say, Timmy, do you need to go potty? And he says, no, mama. And then 15 minutes later, mama, yes, I do. So, you know, things like that happen. And obviously if she's like, okay, I'm going to take Timmy to the bathroom real quick, everyone around you is not going to have a problem when 3 minutes later you come back and you're like, excuse me, I'm so sorry, my kid had to pee. Like, no one's going to care. Most people are not going to care anyway. So when those kinds of things happen, that's completely fine, and cast members are not gonna fuss at you if you have to take someone out to go to the bathroom, or you like need to go get some water or something if you didn't bring it into the queue, because some of those queues do get really hot. So most of the time, cast members and other guests are not going to be too upset about anything like that. What they are going to get upset about is when you send Dad in, and you say, Dad, I need you to go hold the line over at Buzz Lightyear while we go and do Space Mountain. And you wait in a 35-minute line and you do your thing, and then you come back and you go find Dad in line somewhere. That's what the problem is. Divide and conquer should not be your tactic to get on more rides, because that's just going to increase the wait time for everyone. And that's how you find people that are like, why is it so much longer of a wait than what it said it was? Because things like that happen. So just don't do it. Don't send one person in and have them hold a line for 30 minutes and then you come join them and be like, oh, we're gonna go get some food. Dad's fine, he can go stand in line. Mom can go wait over there in line. That's cool. Just don't do it. Just, if you want to experience an attraction, get your whole family together, go on in and do that attraction. So the next one is something that is probably more annoying for cast members than it is for guests. I am talking about our friends, the mid-row squatters. People, when you come into a theater show or anywhere where they say, scoot all the way across, please come all the way to the opposite side of the row, and they stop in the middle. We get it. You want to see it from the middle. Everyone wants to see it from the middle. That's clearly the best spot to see it. There's not going to be a bad seat. Disney is not ever going to be like, well, yes, because you follow directions, you don't get to see it at all. It's not going to be like that. So if you come into Mickey's PhilharMagic, that's a great example, because I don't think I've ever been in there and not had to step over someone who stopped in the middle. if you're one of the first people in and you know that you are going to want to sit in the middle somewhere and you don't want to have to go all the way across, hold back a little bit. Do not shove through, and make sure that you are the first people through the doors that open automatically. Make sure that you are coming in a little bit towards the middle. That way you can just slide across and you can stop at a seat that is filling up all the available space and also still in the middle of that row. That way you are getting to sit where you want to sit. The cast members are happy. They're not going to have to come and say, everyone scoot down, everyone scoot to your right, as they will for every theater show. So, and also no one is going to have to like awkwardly like, excuse me, slide by you. So just make sure that if a cast member tells you to scoot all the way across the row, just go ahead and scoot all the way across the row. My next group of individuals who might be a little bit pet peevish are the flashers. These are the people that you hear, no flash photography, and they still do it. They just think that it's going to make their picture that much better, even though it will not. If they say no flash photography, it is for one of two reasons. One, it is going to ruin the experience for everyone around you because you're going to see show elements that you should not be seeing, or two, it's going to be dangerous for performers. And no picture is going to be worth endangering another person, especially a cast member who is there specifically performing for you. So if someone says do not use flash photography or any cameras with external lighting, please follow that rule. We had people who turned flash on Expedition Everest at night, and it actually gave us a headache because when you're going through the dark section, you're kind of disoriented anyway, and then when you have lights flashing around you, it can be kind of distracting and actually kind of hurt your head, hurt your eyes. You know, be aware of those kinds of things and make sure that you are not using flash photography if they have told you not to, because it can be dangerous, it can be annoying, and it's also not going to really make your pictures any better. So just don't use flash. So these next two kind of go together. I'm going to call them the block parties and the parkers, because you have people who like to, the block party is the group of 10 that wants to all walk side by side, and they want to take up all of Main Street as they're walking together. I get that you want to walk together in a group, that's fantastic. Don't walk side by side, completely blocking the entire road, because then you got people behind you who are like, can we get around? No, maybe, no, okay. We'll just sit here and awkwardly trudge behind you. So there's those kinds of people, and then there's also the parkers, and these are the people who, they may not be walking all the way across, but then they all of a sudden stop. They just walking, and then they stop right in front of you. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna take a picture of this, and they stop, and then you run into them, or you have to like divert, and God forbid you should be in an ECV or a wheelchair, like I said earlier, and you have to like suddenly like steer around them. So just, once again, these all kind of come back to just be aware of your surroundings. So if you have a big group of people, don't walk all side by side, walk in little clumps, walk in a cluster. That'll be just fine. You'll still be able to hear each other. And if you want to stop and get some water, you want to stop and take a picture, you need to consult your map, you need to look at your app, any of those things, just kind of like, just like you're driving, just like kind of look around, see which side you can get off to, and pull off to the side. Stop there, pull up your map, your app, whatever you need to look at, and do it that way. Just don't ever come to a dead stop right in front of people, because then you get a pile up and you get angry people yelling. Not a good time. Speaking of angry people, this is another big pet peeve. This one specifically is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is the angry guest. Like when people come to Disney World and they are just angry. And not just angry, but like angry at their kids. That's one that really gets to me, is when parents start yelling at their kids, do you know how much this vacation cost? You're gonna enjoy it. And because everyone is so hot and they're so tired and they don't want to keep going, but you've paid so much money, and dad's just frustrated and he's like, you are gonna enjoy this vacation if it's the last thing I do. Then no one's being happy. No one's having a good time at that point. So just don't get angry. Don't have fights. Don't yell, and especially do not make a child go on an attraction that they don't want to go on. If they're afraid of something and they don't want to do it, don't force them, because then they're gonna start crying or getting upset. You're gonna get upset. There's gonna be yelling. It's gonna be awkward for everyone around you. So don't make the kid go on Haunted Mansion if they're afraid of them. If there's kids who are afraid to meet Mickey Mouse or to meet Cinderella, don't just shove them up there and be like, oh, it's fine, go meet them. Because sometimes that's uncomfortable for the kids, and you don't want them to think back to their first Disney vacation and be terrified and have these horrible memories. So just try to tone down the anger. Don't get super upset about things. I know it's difficult sometimes because you do, once again, get really frustrated with certain things. Don't take it out on kids, especially because they oftentimes are the ones who are getting the brunt of it, because parents kind of get frustrated with the kids for making certain choices and not wanting to do certain things when the parents have obviously made a sacrifice and have made the decision to pay all this money to come on a Disney vacation. But there are people who fight, you know, couples fight and all that kind of stuff too. So just no fighting, don't be angry, try to enjoy yourself, and that'll be a little bit better for everyone. Please excuse my sweating. Somehow it is still 85 degrees here. I'm not sure how. It's fall. What's happening? The last pet peeve that I'm going to mention is one of my personal pet peeves. There's not that many that I feel very strongly about, because you see so many people, especially when you work at Disney or you go a lot. You see all of these things and you kind of just get used to them, and you can work around it, and it doesn't really bother you that much. But this is one of the ones that really bothers me, and it is the voiceover artist. That's the person who, they want you to know exactly how many times they have been on this attraction. They are Disney World masters. They can quote every word that the ghost host says at the Haunted Mansion. They know every Skipper joke, and they want to sing them louder than you. Hence why I hate the voiceover artist. The people who, when they go on Dinosaur, they want to say, flash photography? I wouldn't. It alters the homing signal, and that's not good. It's fun when you know the words, and it can be tempting to try to show off a little bit and be like, yes, I've been here, I know all of this. But just try to think about it from the first time that you came. What if someone had been yelling all of the words over whoever it was who was saying it, and you didn't get to experience it yourself? Especially if it is a live performer that you're talking over, like a Skipper, or like someone on the Great Movie Ride. Rest in peace, Great Movie Ride. If it's something like that, it's kind of disrespectful to that person, because that's their entire job. Their entire job is to talk, and if you were talking over them, why are they even there? What's the point? You know, they kind of start to feel like, well, why am I doing this if no one actually even cares what I'm saying? So just think about it before you start just like putting in your own voice and trying to make sure that everyone around you knows that, yes, I know all of the words to this too. So that is it for the little pet peeves video for Walt Disney World. If you have any other pet peeves that you have when you go to the parks, let me know those down below. Are there any specific to like Disneyland or Disneyland Paris, anywhere like that I haven't actually been? And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.